Hi friend, I just got inspired to make a video about the fears that we can be in when we're going through cancer or even after cancer, and what helps me and helped me to not stay in that fear space or get out of it. So fears are a huge thing, right? Especially like when we got first diagnosed, it's like, oh my gosh, the big shock. You got cancer, the big C, they say, right? Anyway, so giving you a quick preview, it can be all temporary, and everything always is temporary. Everything moves. I was diagnosed with stage 4 and had breast cancer. I had a golf ball sized lump in my right breast. I had a lymph node that I was literally feeling like a pee, hard pee, and I also found a spot in my lung. And so I was diagnosed with stage 4, and I got fully well. I fully recovered, and it's been, that was 2020, now it's 26. I am thriving, I'm doing really well. So much is possible. Okay, so first and foremost, that story. So now, how did I handle fears, and what did I do to get out of them? And why does it matter? So let me start with the why does it matter first. So, of course, fears are very uncomfortable, and nobody wants to be scared, right? That's one thing. But what also is important about fears is if we stay in the fear zone for a long period of time, it creates a tremendous stress for our body. And when we're sick, especially with cancer and really intensely sick, we need our body to fully function with our immune system, right? And so our body fully functions best when we're not in fear mode, but when we're relaxed and calm and trusting. Because what happens in our body is we have the fight or flight nervous system, which is activated when we're scared, freaked out, literally sometimes scared for life, right? And when we find a way to relax, and there are many tools we can use, I'll get into that in a second, then we drop into the other nervous system, which is the vagus nervous system, which is the nervous system that kicks in when our body says, okay, I don't have to run from a tiger right now. I can use my resources to optimize my immune system. So the vagus nervous system helps release old cells, including old cancer cells that you don't need. It's strong, it keeps, all the good stuff. That happens when we're in the vagus nervous system. So it's really everything you can do to reduce stress and optimize positive feelings and relax. The more you can do that, the more you're optimizing your immune system and really doing something amazing for your body, especially when you're in such an intense healing phase, right? So that being said, of course, it can be really easily said. I'm like, oh my God. And we can also freak out. I'm like, no, I need to not be freaked out. I'm freaked out about that. So take a breath. And that's actually one of the first things that I did is when I got diagnosed, it's like, okay, take a breath and like backtrack even before diagnosed. Like sometimes we realize something is wrong, right? We need to go see a doctor, and then we have the wait time, whatever. Like there's so many places on the journey where we can get freaked out. So I won't go into specifics with each individual phase, and it doesn't matter. But what matters now is like, what do we do to reduce stress and to reduce fears? And so one of the first things I did, and that's actually a power tool that was so paramount for me, and we can all access that tool regardless of whether you believe in God or whether you're in a particular religion. It really doesn't matter. Even if you don't believe in any God, you can still access it. So if you can manage to believe that we're not alone, that we don't know everything, right? And believe in the possibility that there's a higher support out there. Like you can literally imagine like, oh, maybe what if I have guardian angels? It doesn't matter what you believe, but trusting that there's some support out there. So do whatever works for you to connect with that support and to ask for supports. Because as soon as we ask, a big thing happens already. It's like you can start to relax because you start to trust that you're not alone. You start to trust that something else is in motion here to support you, and resources are already there, right? So the more you relax, you will also see such resources more likely. That's another benefit of not being in fear mode. We access our fuller intelligence when we're relaxed. When we're freaked out, we have tunnel vision, right? That's a really big one, actually. That just came up as I'm talking. So, okay, that was a big thing that I did. So when I got diagnosed, I had a spiritual mentor already in my inner circle of coaches that I knew. And she was also a Reiki healer. And the first thing that I did was like reach out to her and say like, hey, I need a session. And she happened to have also been a cancer patient. She had overcome it as well. And so we did a session, and I had a conversation with her, and I asked her questions, and I asked her to connect with spirit, help me connect with spirit and get speak my fears. And I was really heard in that. And I walked away from that call feeling confident that I'm not alone and that I can do this, and that this is temporary, and that I have an amazing body that has amazing healing powers, and that I will get through this. So I found trust, and I was able to, that was really one of my big anchors when I was diagnosed, to trust that I will be okay. So see if you can do that somehow. And that can be huge for you. So spiritual support, right? For ourselves to connect with that and do that your way, whatever that means to you. Okay. And then the number one tool, actually, the first tool that I used back when it was super intense at the very beginning, was to simply take one step after the other. That was one of the biggest things that really helped me, because at first everything was crashing down on me. It was like the finances, the organization, where was I going to live? Everything was like falling apart in a matter of moments, and it was a lot. And people were coming to me. Somebody wanted to get paid, and I was just diagnosed, and so forth. And so I just had to pull the brakes and say, okay, I'm taking care of one thing at a time, really focusing on myself. And then when I did that, that also helped me when I was scared of like upcoming procedures or anything, Skeeter. Anyway, it just bit me. Anyway, so because when I said myself, this is a mindset shift too, right? It's like, instead of looking at the full mountain, I was looking at the present moment. So you come back to yourself and like, okay, so I might not know everything tomorrow and how all of this works, but I know I got my calendar. I know what to do now. And I'm here right now, and I can do something right now, and that's what I'm doing. And that's what I use a lot of times. It's like literally finding my anchor in the present moment and simply focusing on that. That's another power tool to get out of fears. Because if you think about fears are, and that's not just from me, but it's like from many coaches I've heard talk, and if we just dig into that topic, fears are made up of stories from our mind, of telling ourselves the worst thing that can happen, or something that will be really bad, something that we really don't want to happen. Like, they're all stories of our mind, right? So I just dropped my shirt. So we can drop those fears as well, because we can use curiosity. That's one of the next power tools. That's actually the key in my book, Permission to Sparkle, is a mindset key, curiosity. So when we use curiosity, we can always snap out of it and come back to the sparkle path, what I call. And the sparkle path for me is a metaphor to feel empowered again, and to feel like we can do things, and so forth. So when you use curiosity, for example, like one time I had an intense fear that came up, that literally I felt in my body. I was like, oh, like later in my healing journey, I was talking to one of my new oncologists at the time, and he used the words to me saying, do you know what cancer you have that cannot be cured? And so that was a slammer in my face, right? It's like, whoa, what? And so I instantly refused to accept that truth. That's the first thing, right? Like also, we don't need to accept stories from other people or accept even fears, right? So, but with the curiosity example, I can use curiosity even in a situation like this and can say, oh, well, what if he doesn't have the full picture? What if that weren't true? What if something entirely different is true, right? So the curiosity is a power tool for our mind to snap out of thinking we cannot do anything and thinking something is absolutely terrible gonna happen, which is never written in stone. It never is, because we can always influence things. And it comes back to ourselves and our body. When we are relaxed, we are in our power. Because and then we can change the past, what can happen, and we open up doors, we uncover unseen opportunities, and we take really great care of ourselves, right? And the more relaxed we are, the more calm, the more we are the captain on our boat, or the queen on our sparkle path, whatever you call it. So curiosity really brings us also back into our power and into our calm state. It starts showing us possibilities, and it opens our mind to a different way of thinking and brainstorming, and also it opens up our mind also to that spiritual support, kind of, because when we say, I might not, what if this weren't true? And what if something that I don't even know is possible, right? What if there is an amazing wellness modality, for example, that would be so great for me, or something amazing that I will find on my healing journey? Maybe I'll find a superpower or a renewed passion or purpose or something amazing that sounds crazy right now because it's such an intense journey. But what if something good can come out of this? Like it's just flipping things upside down and just suspending our fears for a moment, because they're not rational anyway. They are using our imagination in the worst possible way. That's another thing I heard as a concept before. So our imagination is such a powerful thing. So if we imagine, we can imagine amazing things to happen, right? Like this dog just climbed up here. It's like, this is amazing. Sorry. We can also use our imagination to imagine the worst. So why not imagine the best? Because when we do, not only do we feel better and we're coming out of fear mode, but we allow possibilities. So that means we don't just shut the door and like lock ourselves away from potential opportunities, but because we are curious, we're open, and we might see things, and we feel better. We have our feelers out, and we're telling the universe that, hey, she's curious, she's open, and she's imagining and wishing for this, and she's trusting that, oh, you know what, maybe that is possible. Maybe I am also not one of those negative statistics, but I'm actually a statistic they don't even track. And okay, so I could talk for a long time. I have so much that I can bring, but I do want to say one last thing that can also be a rational peace thing for you on the cancer healing journey. And this is something that really, really baffled me when I was in going to treatments and stuff. So just to let you know, like I did the whole thing. I did Western medicine, everything from from chemo to radiation to surgery, reconstruction. And I also supported myself with additional things like acupuncture, energy healing, with spiritual support, with joy support, with creativity, and basically whatever I felt would like be the right thing for me right now. I always listen to myself, and that's, again, is also when we're out of fear mode, is like when we're really listening to our heart, what feels right, what we feel that leads us to more joy, and more just it feels right for us, that path. So gosh, I just almost lost my train of thought. Oh yes, so I wanted to give kudos to the medical profession and to the Western medicine modalities, because they really did help me personally. But everybody has their own path. You get to choose your path. Whatever anybody says does not have to mean anything to you. You choose, okay? So that big picture, bringing it back to a moment where I discovered something in the medical field that can happen, is the medical field and oncologists, they often work with statistics, right? Because they're using them to look at tendencies for efficiency of treatments, and based on numbers of what has worked for others. So one thing that I have seen as I was exploring these consultations is that, and also reading some books from doctors who were in the field and then shifted their focus, that people who do get well, they are not necessarily tracked in the system. So they're often labeled as, oh, that's unexplainable anomaly, somebody who got well. We don't know, but we're focusing on the ones who the statistics that say like how long people live, whatever. But like they don't even consider the people who live like 20 years after they had their whole, So keep your information that you're getting from doctors also. It's good to look at the information, but keep listening to your heart, and don't take anything as a verdict for what exactly will happen, because we have our own unique bodies, and you have your own most amazing wisdom, especially when you get out of fear mode and back into your heart and listen to your intuition and your gut. And we access that when we're out of fear mode. Then you sense what is right for you. You sense that, oh no, I'm not done with life, for example, right? Like I really felt that for myself. I have something to do here still. And this is not going to be my truth that I cannot be cured, like my doctor said. So trust yourself. Don't let anybody derail you. Nobody knows the truth. You are your best navigator. So come back to that, and that will also help you with getting out of fears. Okay, so I talked for a long time. I have more inspirations. Just leaving you with one more tool is breath. If you feel overwhelmed and freaked out, you can always come back to your breath. Just take a moment and pause and take a breath and let it all go, and do that 3 times. That can always bring you back to the present moment. That's number 2. And you will notice that even as you do that, you relax more. And do another one. Deep breath. And relax. And then you can ask yourself, what is your heart wanting for you right now? What's your next step right now? And then really listen to that. And as you keep doing that, you're really fully supporting yourself. You're amazing, and you're accessing all your superpowers. So keep coming back to yourself. Okay, ask me anything. Come to my communities. I have a wellness community that's free to join. I have more resources, and I have a Sparkle community if you're curious about getting more mental and emotional support to practice this empowerment and positive thinking and get out of your fear. We play with curiosity there, and we use creativity and playfulness to snap out of fear mode and back into our present moment, our heart, our relaxed captain space, where we feel what our next steps is. And from there, we can change the world and you access all your superpowers. So if that calls you, follow my links. Okay, all the best and much love to you. Bye.